The showrunner for the upcoming Netflix animated series Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft is attempting to put out some fires that she herself created, and specifically, she's trying to assuage fears that the show is a modern retcon of Lara Croft. I don't think she is doing that. I think this show is going to be an absolute woke disaster based on everything we've seen from it and her own previous comments. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com late last week on September 18, and you can already tell this is an absolute disaster just based on the character designs here. If I didn't know that they were telling me that this was Lara Croft, I would not recognize this character as Lara Croft because it looks nothing like Lara Croft. And then this character here clearly has the mental illness haircut with the shaved side of the head there. So huge red flag right there, just from the images that they have released and the trailers that they've released as well. But anyways, Tasha Ho, the showrunner of the series, is trying to calm fears that the show is going to be a modern retconning of Lara Croft. Those fears were expressed following the show's first trailer, where numerous fans pilloried the show. As of writing, the trailer has almost 300,000 views after a month with just 10,000 likes. It is 15,000 dislikes, so it was getting ratioed right there. In the comments, we saw numerous people savage the show. I see Lara is still failing repeatedly. Another one said, oh boy, they left the comment section open again. Someone needs to teach Netflix what the definition of a trailer is. Another person questioned why Lara Croft's iconic pistols were not present in the trailer. Where are her guns? Another expressed a similar sentiment. All I want from this is Lara wielding her signature dual pistols. If you've never played the games, you won't know how iconic and mindful she is. Or another seemingly lampooning the trailer for its characterization of Lara Croft. Another wrote this. Remember when she was a cool, confident, and cocky seasoned explorer before they added trauma, grief, and daddy issues and made her practically insufferable? Another added, what is it with Crystal Embracer and their need for Lara to be tortured? Is this an American thing? Do your heroes always have to suffer? So not only did the trailer stoke those fears, but Ho set them ablaze in an interview with IGN's Katie Rule, who asked her if making the series animated allows for it to be seen by younger audiences. And this is how Ho answered. Yeah, the hope was always that everyone could watch it. If you played this game and you have young kids, you could sit and watch it and enjoy this world with them. It's sort of a gateway drug to playing the video games if you're younger. But also, I definitely wrote it for us, for adults, for people who played the games their whole lives and really enjoyed it. And so the themes are very adult. So nothing really wrong with that right there, right? I think that's a fine answer. She goes on and says, there's still a lot of violence, but the animation, you're right, does allow for it to not feel as graphic. And so it does create a bigger space for more people to enjoy, which hopefully they do. However, this is the big red flag right here. She then concludes saying, I'm writing it for little girls as much as I'm writing it for big girls. So clearly that is the target audience. One would assume that you would try to write it at least a general audience, and that would include men and boys, because I think they would be interested in Lara Croft and Tomb Raider as well. I would wager that it has probably a male skewing audience, as most video games do. Ho was also asked if she took any creative liberties in terms of reimagining the character for a 2024 audience. So again, she's the one who stoked these flames, right? She's the one kind of putting these ideas out there that this is a woke retconning on top of everything we've actually seen from this. Her comments, I think, are clearly fanning those flames, fanning those fears. And she answered this, though, when asked about reimagining the character for a 2024 audience. She says, I really wanted to capture the Laura that as a little girl I really fell in love with, which was someone who takes no crap, who really stands up for herself in every scenario against any villain, man, woman, it doesn't matter. She's going to do what she wants, regardless of who's standing in front of her. As we were writing, as we're animating, it felt so important to show Lara as empowered at every step of the way. Even when she is at her low point, she is going to find that strength inside of her. And that always inspires me with her and inspired me in the show. She continued saying, and then in terms of bringing it into now and away from the games, I also wanted to know more about her relationships. She's so alone in the games. You get a sense that she has people here and there, but she must care about people. And that was also, I think, part of bringing it into the now is how does this woman who is this incredible badass and who can accomplish so much alone, how does she relate to people? How does she form friendships? And that doesn't have to make her vulnerable because she loves other people. So exploring that sort of dichotomy of being vulnerable with friends, but still being an incredible badass. It just sounds like a soap opera at this point. Doesn't sound like Tomb Raider. It had also been previously revealed back in 2021 that Ho would attempt to unify the various Tomb Raider timelines. She said the team at Crystal Dynamics is hard at work unifying the timelines of Tomb Raider, and we're excited to be a part of that effort. She said, I always wondered how Lara Croft became such an epic and brilliant hero. She's so cool, so calm under pressure, also pretty witty. So to that end, the Tomb Raider anime series from Legendary Television and Netflix will provide fans like you and me around the world with some of the first steps towards unifying the Tomb Raider timelines as we transition beyond the Survivor trilogy and start to follow Lara's journey leading up to the first steps of that first Tomb Raider game. And she added, now part of that awesome task is about bringing together pieces from the different Tomb Raider eras, including some of Lara's friends and allies. That is why I'm so thrilled to introduce you to 2 additional characters who will be joining us on this wild ride. Earl Balon, who will be reprising his role as Jonah Mayava from the Survivor trilogy, and Alan Maldonado, who will be voicing the character of Zip from Tomb Raider Chronicles, Legend, and Underworld. She concluded, trust me when I say this is an exciting road ahead of us, and I cannot wait for you to join us. Oh, then shared details on this in her interview with IGN and how she crafted the show to unify the timeline. She said, I had the whole canon in my head because we were coming from the Survivor series, so you had to honor who Lara Croft was, that person that she was in those games, but move her into the person she was in the games where we all started playing. Those early 90s games where she's just a very different person. And so it was really exciting to write to Lara becoming that person. How does someone who is like Lara from the Survivor series transform into that person? What goes on to drive her to become that person? Those were just the best questions to have to deal with. And it was really exciting to work in more humor, which is what I really loved about her early days. Getting to kind of combine those 2 canons has been really fun. She also went on to note that she will attempt to provide warmth to Lara, given she previously viewed her as cold, given she was written by men. So look, just multiple red flags throughout these interviews here that she's given over the past couple of years. She said this, I think it was fun to be able to have one scene where she does an incredible feat of strength or agility or what have you, the Lara thing, and then another scene where she's hugging a friend and is emotional with them. I think that's something we definitely wanted to explore in terms of Lara's womanhood. Because historically, she's been written by men, so she has been kind of this cold figure, and I know she's not like that. So that was the exciting part, to see sort of behind the veil of how she is in her everyday life. So I don't recognize this character at all. I don't think this is Lara Croft. I think this is fan fiction that Tasha Ho has created in her own mind and is now projecting onto the character of Lara Croft, which we see so often in modern Hollywood. I think the biggest example of that is Patrick McKay and JD Payne with the Rings of Power abomination. So this is the meat of it. This is her trying to do some damage control now. She spoke with Entertainment Weekly, and she said this, there's a desperate concern that the show is going to be too modern and not be enough of the Lara we know and love. Well, I wonder why. I wonder why, because we saw the trailer. We've seen your comments. I think there's lots of reason to be concerned because of everything that we've actually seen that you've marketed about this show. You're telling us that there's reason to be concerned. And now you're going to try and tell us that there's no reason. Oh, these are not the droids you're looking for. Everything you just saw was the Men in Black. Please look, snap, forget everything I just said. That's what she's doing here. I just want the fans to know that this is the show that we've all been waiting for as fans. It feeds into all the stuff we love from the original games. This is a show made by fans from top to bottom. She went on to tease what viewers might expect if they tune in. We follow Lara as she's faced with difficult obstacles. We have to make those choices as Lara in the games. And it was important to me that there was a lot of darkness that she had to experience. In the games, she would die and die and die and get back up. Is she talking about her own experience here? Like she failed, she lost, she didn't do it. Like, is that what she's talking about? That was so important to me to show that kind of hero that she is, that no matter what, I'll get to my feet. You've got to throw her to the ground. We have to beat Lara up, because what makes her such a hero is that she gets back up no matter what. This is what these people always do. They did this with Luke Skywalker. They literally have to rewrite the story so they can tell the story that they want to. So they have to bring these characters back down and destroy them and put them through all of this suffering in order so they can give them the quote unquote hero's arc. Instead, they can't just give them an actual adventure anymore. They can't just be like, okay, this person is actually a hero already. Let's just kind of have them overcome some things through external things. They always have to do some kind of internal beating them down, the lot of darkness she has to experience, etc., etc. They can't just have this person be a good, moral, strong role model that is going to take on crazy adventures, go tomb raiding, and just make the decisions that she would make. No, they have to run her through all of this gamut of darkness and stuff. And they did this with Luke Skywalker. He was already that hero, and then they had to like basically break him down with Rian Johnson, where he's about to murder his own nephew, et cetera, et cetera. I expect something similar with Lara Croft. And that is reason to fear. She is literally admitting that there is reason to fear the modern retconning of Lara Croft, because that is exactly what they do with these modern movies, modern television shows now. They have to deconstruct the characters so that they can rebuild them in their own image. It is all about let the past die, kill it if you have to. And then after they have killed that past, they try and recreate it so that you don't even remember what that past was. It was always what we said it was. Everything was always woke, right? That's the saying that they like to use. And that's exactly what I'm hearing here from Tasha Ho about this Tomb Raider show. She then addressed where the show takes place in the Tomb Raider canon. She says, the story does take place in the canon of Lara. It's not just this random installment. I think that's where I'll stop. She then added, those conversations were had up front talking about where in the canon it was. She says, the show is such an easy slot between the next game and where we came from. So this is what she had to say. I think this show is basically dead on arrival. I think actual Tomb Raider fans will not be interested in this. And it's a shame because they actually got Haley Atwell to do the voice for her and basically have wasted her talent on a garbage show. And that is unfortunate, but that's what we get now from modern woke Hollywood and video games. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.